Welcome back to Summit Sunrise. I love to have Bonnie Smith on as the first guest of the show because not only has she advised me over the years about real estate, but also about fashion. I had my shirt unbuttoned, one sleeve rolled up, and you've made me symmetrical, so thank you for that.
Anytime, Jeffrey. Just like to fluff you a little bit.
I need to be fluffed. Now, let's go from fashion to real estate, exclusive mountain retreats. Now, it's not necessarily that you just deal with exclusive properties. You exclusively work for one or the other, one buyer or the seller, right?
Exclusive in our name, it's exclusive agency, so that means I just represent them as the person as a client, and it's my job to do all the minutia and attend to all the details. And sometimes the most challenging part is figuring out what they both want.
Yeah, or figuring out what the whole family wants, and also, sometimes I think part of your job is to kind of dispel the fantasy and bring them back to reality about what the nuances of each particular property is, like something downtown in Breckenridge or Frisco or something out in the mountains. There's pros and cons in both.
There are, and so you really have to get down and dirty and ask them the right questions, which is sometimes harder than it sounds. And often you have a disconnect between what one spouse wants and the other spouse wants, or what the kids want and what the parents want, so that can be a challenging part of the job.
453-0765. And one of the things that you've been in the business for quite some time, I think one of the things you can bring to the table is you have kind of a historical working knowledge of the various properties, as far as what HOA has a strong HOA, what has money in reserves, and that's something that someone just coming off out of the blue from another part of the town or country doesn't know.
That's true, and now, for example, I'm working with some clients from the Front Range, and they're not sure whether they want to rent the property or not, so I do a little pro forma to show them what the rental income would look like, what the tax savings would be, just a ballpark estimate.
Right.
But it's really helpful, I think, to start thinking about condo fees and what that includes.
Assessments.
And I show them the buildings, and these buildings have been done on the outside, redone on the outside, and you know that in town.
Right.
And some haven't, so you can anticipate you better start saving money, because at some point they're going to need to do the exterior of the building.
Right. And also, I think, some buildings have been done on the outside as a facelift, but when you get into the foundations and all that, that sometimes is going to require an assessment. That's even a more expensive assessment. Yeah. Now, let's talk a little bit about what's going on as far as top-end stuff.
Actually, it seems like there's a lot more people in town looking above $2 million. We hadn't had a lot of buyers this summer doing that. I think a combination of factors. I think people are nervous about the elections.
Right.
I think some people don't want to make major cash decisions till they see what happens. Although I'm not sure what's going to happen. I mean, either way, I'm not sure what they think's going to happen.
Yeah.
But given that we've got historically low rates, I don't know that they can go down much more. So I don't know that election will affect that. So I think that now's the time to jump on that bandwagon.
I think so, because I don't think the prices, we didn't have a huge drop in prices, but a bit of a correction, and I don't think that's not gonna go any lower. And the one thing about when you buy a top end property, like just say a property incrementally increases 3%. If you buy a $100,000 property, that's $3,000. You buy $1 million property, that's
$30,000.
Thank you very much for that.
Math is not your forte.
A proud graduate of BC, BC College of Boston. I went to Breckenridge High, Breckenridge University. Let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen. This time of year is when people are actually looking at property. And when is like the best time to buy? What month of the year? Does it matter?
I'd say right now through about the 1st of October is really, really happening. I would say that's the most active. But, the buyer patterns are really changed from the way they were 5 years ago. Before that, everything was very, very regimented, and you kind of knew what was busy and what wasn't.
Right.
But I would say if it's sitting on the market at the end of the summer and it hasn't sold, a lot of people are getting uncomfortable about whether they're going to have to carry it again for another winter. But as you get really close to winter, I know this sounds complex, but if you get close to November, people say, well, you know what? I'm going to keep it because I can rent it for the winter for ski season. So that's
so actually, this could be This is a bit of the sweet spot right now.
It is.
One, you get record low rates. Now you have some inventory. People want to move at this time of year. Exclusive Mountain Retreats, you represent both the buyer, either the buyer or the seller. And what are you doing more now? Is there more people are you doing, or is it kind of equal?
It's equal. I'm kind of surprised that so many people. I've got several new listings this week, and everyone I've talked to has. So I've got. I'm very surprised that people have waited this long.
Right.
I think the summer kind of took everyone unaware. We woke up and said, "Oh my goodness, it's
summer.
August."
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah.
So anyway, so how about how about your situation? Do you need to sell anything these days?
You know what? No, I'm holding tight because I think it's gonna. I think it's gonna explode.
Yeah,
I think
do
it's
too.
going to explode in the next 12 months, and now I think it's the time to buy. Give us the process. Someone wants to get involved in some property in Summit County. What should they do first? Should they go to a website, to your website? Should they talk to you in person? Look around themselves? Give us the whole scenario.
Most people do go online, and they have their own place that they tend to search.
Yep.
I'm about to roll out the search part of my new website. My new
Right.
website is summitluxuryrealestate.com, and I'm about to roll out the search place, which should be up by next week,
Right.
which is going to be a really, really extensive search where you can actually put in either a zip code or an area or draw a square
Right.
and decide what's there. But whatever works for you, but the first thing you need to do is talk to a professional. So I would say call the realtor, talk to them about lending, talk to them about your situation. Let them ask the right questions and make sure we're putting you in the right place.
Are there more lenders? Are there lenders that are more inclined to lend up to a mountain economy opposed to a front range, or are there lenders that you just find a little bit more flexible?
You have to use a local lender because they understand front desk,
Right.
they understand short-term rentals, and as much as the people say from outside the area that they do understand that, they just
Right.
usually can't write those properties.
Right.
So-
So I have a friend in the business. No, it's better off to talk to a realtor first. She can refer you to the people that actually will lend the money, and also just kind of avoid the heartbreak and the minutia of waiting.
Well, and getting pre-qualified makes you much stronger when your realtor goes to negotiate on your behalf.
yeah.
Because if you know what you're qualified for and you have a letter in hand, the other broker knows that they're more likely to get it done.
All right. Exclusive Mountain Retreats. Give Bonnie a call. I've dealt with her on numerous occasions, and I'm a stinking nightmare. So if she can put up with me, she can put up with you. 453-970-453-0765. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
All right, we're going to hit the break, come back with more Summer Sunrise. Stay with us.